Hello and welcome to our home here in Brittany in northwest France. This week's midweek money chat are all those 10 top tips for saving money that we've learnt from the French. This week's money chat is also a collaboration with the wonderful Shireen Fitzgerald from Australia. I found Shireen on YouTube and she is so engaging, easy listening. She's so approachable. You just feel like you're sitting down and having a cup of tea and a chat with someone you know. So make sure when you finish watching this video, you click on the link below and you tell Shireen that Frugal Queen in France sent you. Now, one of the first things we learned, and we had to learn it pretty quickly when we moved to France, is everything is seasonal. But if you go with the flow and you buy seasonally, not just food, bear with everything that's seasonal, you'll find out you'll get better prices. There might be a cold snap in the middle of summer, but don't go trying to buy a jumper in August. It's all bikinis and little shorts. You buy what's in season, everybody's selling what's in season, and the competition is fierce. So, if you want to save money in France, buy seasonally. For example, did you know there are seasonal cheeses in France? There are seasonal breads, there are seasonal cakes. Buy what is in season. Certain times of the year, certain meat or fish is at a lower price. So we learnt that really quickly and it saves us a heap of money. Go with it, roll with it, don't worry about what you can't buy. It'll come along when it's good and ready and it's in season. Now, when you're learning French, sometimes the last thing you learn is French slang. However, if you're looking for the bargains in a French shop, here is some slang that you will pick up really quickly, and it is anti-gaspi, which is short for gaspillage or gaspillage, which is waste. So they don't want any waste. The French loathe waste. They really, really don't like it. They don't like food being wasted, clothes being wasted, they don't want anything being wasted. So keep your eye open for that when you're in the French supermarket, the anti-gaspi. For example, you can go into the supermarkets here and buy a whole big mixed box of fruit and vegetables for €2. Something in there may not be too brilliant, but the rest will be great. And we use that all the time. There'll be a fridge somewhere, usually in the corner, it's not usually quite prominent, and it'll say anti-gaspi on it. And we'll pick up all sorts of bargains. You'll notice when you've learnt this slang phrase in France of anti-gaspi, there's anti-gaspi shops, basically selling ends of lines or things that aren't so popular. So anti-gaspi food shops, anti-gaspi clothing stores, anti-gaspi items for your homes. But keep your eyes open for that phrase in France, anti-gaspi, you will soon find the bargains. Another money-saving tip that we've learnt from the French is they're really, really, really big on car sharing. So not just things like BlaBlaCar and other car sharing apps are available, but they have car parks especially for car sharing. So on the outskirts of town. And these car parks, these rest points are called an aire de covoiturage, so a car sharing car park. So look out for those. Look out for those websites when you're in France as well. Car sharing is just seen as just a really good money saving thing to do. Not so common in other places. When I was in the UK, it might be something you might have agreed with colleagues, for example. But here, it's really common and it's a great way of saving money, car sharing. Now, another tip that we've learnt from the French is how to maximise our off-peak electricity. So we have two electricity tariffs. In the daytime, the electricity is one price, and in the zone where we live in, between 10:30 at night and 7:30 in the morning, our electricity is about half the price. So that's when our water tank heats all the water. That's when we switch our washing machines. Here have timers. Our dishwashers have timers. We have a time delay on them. It's quite a unique feature. Now, some people don't want to have their electrical items on when they're not looking at them. French seem really cool with it. Your dishwasher, your washing machine is rumbling away through the night. You can just kind of sleep through it. You just get used to it. But we've really maximised on that now. Electricity is expensive here in France. Half of what you pay is tax. So anything you can do to keep that electricity bill down is really useful. So great top tip from the French. Use your off-peak electricity as much as you can. Another amazing money-saving tip that we learned from the French is how to use their local French village markets. Now, we live in a French village, and there's many things that you may or may not want. You've got to travel miles for them. But what's great about our French market is the shops come to you. An example would be, we're a long way from a garden centre, but the garden centres, or the market sellers, bring the plants to us. They're really reasonably priced. Odd things that come to our market at certain times of the year. Guy with a truck full of mattresses for your beds. You need to get a new mattress? You know he's coming soon. Really good price. The clothing vendors, I've already mentioned about seasonal. You need a spring raincoat, or you need a winter coat. Wait till the market comes to your village. They can be really reasonable, good prices. Same again for things like winter boots. Never dismiss those French markets. You can find some real bargains there, and they will save you the time and the money of driving all the way to the city. The bargains will come to you. Now, there's anything that France is really well known for, it's its brocantes, those French antiques. And you know what? French don't want them. It's a niche thing. But what I have learnt from the French, if you want something vintage, if you want something antique, you don't need to go to these fancy antique shops. Oh no. You can go, and all the French go, and just follow them there and follow the bargains to the most amazing charity shops found all across France called Emmaus. Oh, wonderful. You can go in there and find vintage lamps and porcelain and glasses and furniture, beautiful items at very, very low prices. And the good thing about it, Emmaus is a fantastic charity that supports homeless people. Even better. Now, I've already mentioned that the French don't like waste. So, we have places where we take our recycling, we take our rubbish, and it's called, well, a recycling centre, isn't it? Or in the French, it's called a déchetterie, and our rubbish is all divided up. But each of them, they've usually got somewhere a bit canny. Maybe a storeroom, maybe a shed of some sort, or a chalet. And into that, people put the things that are far too good to throw away that can be used by somebody else. And every little town that we've been to has a kind of recycling centre shop. And our local town has one. They are giveaway prices. They are usually run by an association or a charity, and it is just run at cost. So do you know what? If you want something, whether it's sheets, towels, toys for your children, toys for your dogs, plant pots, you name it, somebody's taken it to a recycling centre and you can go and buy it for pennies. They just want to save it from going into the ground or being burnt. And so look out for those when you're in France. They are such a great money saver. And we have items in our house that we've bought from the recycling centre. Follow the French to those recycling centres. They don't like waste. You can buy things for pennies. Now, another thing that's really common, especially here in rural France, is self-care at home. Now, let me talk about that. We have a hairdresser who comes to the house and she's much lower in cost. She doesn't have to pay for a salon, she's got no electricity bills to pay, no business rates to pay, so it's much cheaper. But there's lots of things you can get done like that. You can have beauticians to come to your house as well. So it's really, really common here in France. I don't know what it's like where you live, but it's really common here and it saves a whole pile of money to have all that kind of self-care, whether it's a manicure or a hair colouring or get your eyebrows waxed. They will come to you at home. It does save a lot of money. There's something else we've definitely learnt from the French, and this is a really thrifty thing that they do, is how the French stay healthy and fit and slim. And it's quite extraordinary really, because they're not gym bunnies. They're not all going to the gym. You don't see them out jogging or power walking with those big plastic bottles of water. You don't see anything like that. But what they do is exercise regularly. So you'll see them in their garden weeding. You will see them out walking. There's lots and lots and lots of walking clubs in France, really keen on walking and hiking and dog ownership and dog walking. But they live in a way that saves them money all the time. They eat less, they exercise more, and they live a very simple life. And watching them save money actually keeps them really healthy. One of the biggest money saving tips that we've noticed about the French, that we've learnt about the French, is they live modestly. They don't have flash houses, they don't have flash cars, they don't wear flash clothes. So if you went into the supermarket and looked around at the cars, you couldn't tell if they were shop workers' cars or the local solicitor's cars. On the same street, you couldn't tell whether that's the doctor's house or somebody who works on a farm's house. They all kind of live in a very similar way. And it's part of their culture. It's not to show off stuff. They have such simple lives. And so my final parting, big top money saving tip that we've learnt from the French is they live modestly. Now I want to ask you some questions. How do you save money where you live? Or what have you learned about money saving in a place maybe that you've visited? What is it about your neighbourhood or your community or your country that's unique to money saving? Well, I want to say thank you now. Thank you to Shireen Fitzgerald for joining me today. Thank you so much, Shireen, for all your money saving tips and your superb, fantastic, fun vlog. Just leaves me to say thank you so much to everyone who's watching. Make sure you give it a like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!